Flosstube, it's Janet with Janet Jabber. I'm coming at you with episode 274. If you're new to my channel, this is Channel About Cross Stitch, so I hope you like what you see. Please comment, subscribe, do the YouTube things. And if you're a returning friend, thank you so much for coming back to see me this week. It is Christmas week and it is Q&A week on here. So we are in the spirit. I got new stuff for my little tree. I'm wearing my antlers. I don't know, you can barely see them in my video. But something a little fun and different to do. But we're going to do some of the normal stuff we have around here. So I had a giveaway 2 videos ago, and I had told you, you see the cat's tail, we're hearing cat meowing, and I had told you that I would come give it 2 weeks to run. So here are the winners for that first, right off the top. So number 1 goes to the Crafty Cataloger, Number 2 goes to Joanne, the Eclectic Stitcher. Eclectic Stitcher. Number 3 is to M. Kincaid. Number 4 goes to Kathy Simith. And number 5 goes to Dana Ballard. So if I called your name or you saw it on the page, please reach out to me at janetjabber@gmail.com and I will get those sent out the mail to you as soon as possible. So Merry Christmas, and I hope you enjoy stitching those. Other than that, we're going to move on to what some of the normal stuff we do around here before I do the Q&A, which I'll have at the end in case people aren't interested in that, but I'm excited about the Q&A for sure. All right, my cat just knocked down my foam core board, because why not? All right, so for the first thing that I have Opie wants to make sure that you know that he's here. It's Calling Birds by Satsuma Street, and I have the beads on it and everything. This was supposed to be on perforated paper, but I moved it over to just a scrap piece of 28 count even weave I had. So I love how it turned out. It was fun to stitch. And it went together fast because it was like blocky stitching. The next thing I have to share with you is a finish. I'm going to show you a finish, and then I'm going to show you a finish. So we'll see how this goes. I have the December block of Love Letters from Mom finished right here. That is how beautiful it looks up close. These were 1/1. They were a bear. Lots of fun to stitch though. And the big reveal for you is it is completely done. Love Letters from Mom, completely done. Was a goal that I had for this year by chunking it up to every single month, stitching on it, and I love it. So I look forward to getting that framed. I'm actually not even keeping that in my house. I'm probably immediately giving it to my daughter. So the next things, I have 2 more things stitching wise to show you, and sorry, I know, we're just rolling with it today. Cat's like wanting to be all lovey and getting into stuff, and dog barking. All right, so something I've been concentrating on, and really it turned into so beautiful for me. Like it was beautiful, but this, like when I started adding the Karen water lilies to Mirabilia's Miss Christmas Eve, boy, this does no justice for it. And I've seen this in real life before, but I think it's just like in the moment of it coming to life in my hand was just mind blowing. This is still on the Nurge hoop, so please apologize for that, but it's in a great spot and I don't want to change it. All right, so this is what she's looking like. And what I mean by the Karen water lilies making it pop, up here, that necklace right here on her arm, super cute. Watching it, like I said, watching it come to life. So I'm going to keep stitching that on this for the next couple of days, and then it'll get put away probably, so we'll see where that comes. I do have a new start to share with you. Me, Athena, Stitching Goddess Design, and EJ from the Sunshine Stitchers are all starting this. I believe that's all. If there's somebody else that's starting it, please let me know so I can add you to my brain list. But this is Sampler Season Winters by Blueberry Ridge. We've got all 4 of them, and it'll be so interesting to see how this goes. I am stitching it on a 40 count Mystery by Bestitch Me. And I'm going to show you this because that is a start. There's a tiny bit under there. So this is a variegated that I am using on this. So my color palette, this is what inspired it. So 4515, that's what inspired it. And out of this Coloris, I believe is how it's pronounced, these 4 colors make up that. So that information is out there for you. And what I plan on doing is I plan on doing the entire border in the variegated for sure. And then I plan on picking motifs in here and doing the solid stitching in other places along. As I go, it'll call to me. I know the buildings are all going to be different ones, but other than that, I really don't know what I'm doing with it. So it'll be fun to watch it come to life and be very creative in regards to that. Okay, the next thing I have to show you is just a tiny little bit more. I had came in the mail haul kind of thing. So my Just Cross Stitch magazine came in, next season coming up-ish. I got another order from the Jingle Ball, which was, I wanted a hard copy of Hands-On Designs Christmas Folk. That is lovely. And then I got a sweet Christmas card in the mail from Joanne. This is what it looks like. So cute. And then she sent me a little thing of candy. And I think this is awesome. Today is a new day. And it's a little thing to where I could like do some planning for the day. I love this. So thank you very much for sharing that with me. So that is my stitching. We are going to move into the question and answer part of this. I have some pre-dedicated questions, predetermined questions. I also have some written down that people had asked about me, and then we'll do personal stuff at the end. So exciting. I'm excited about it. So I will be looking down to read because I don't have, oops, sorry. I don't have it. Maybe I'll put a piece of tape on it so it's in front of me. Sorry. That was a little noisy. Sorry. I'm going to see if I can do it this way, and then I don't have to look down. All right, so some predetermined questions off the top were favorite fabric. That is a hard one for me. I have, like, I'll stitch on anything, and I'm pretty good about that in my video, in my things, that just like if the color matches and I have it, then it works. So I'll do Aida, I'll do linen, I'll do even weave. Sometimes I do 100% what it's called for, sometimes not. That the one that I just showed you that I started, I just went into my 40 count and I picked out fabric for all 4 of the seasons that I thought would look good, and boom, that I kitted it up and it's ready to go. And then there's other times, like I have another seasonal one I was supposed to start and I didn't get it started, but that I am going to try to get the called for. They're the drawn thread ones that I had hoped to start. So it just kind of depends, but it's not really a favorite design, fabric dyers that I like. I love Be Stitch Me. I love Color and Cotton. I love Grace Notes fabrics. So those are big ones for me. But I did sign up for a Fabric of the Month club. Do I use a hoop or a frame? Well, you saw today 2 Nerge hoops. I primarily stitch in hand, but if the fabric is loosey-goosey, I will put it in a Nerge hoop. I used to be a Q-snap stitcher. I have a lot of Q-snaps around here. I have just fallen in love with the Nerge. So there's that. It's less of a bind to hold. From the hobby and from my line of work, I have developed trigger finger over the years, so my hand will like freeze and I literally have to pry it apart and kind of massage it to get it to like release. So that's the thing. I have a Lowry stand because I want to make sure that, you know, if I want to transition into something like that, I have it before I come onto my fixed budget. So I hope that answers that question and gives you some variety there. I just answered the next question. Do you use a stand or a frame? No, not yet, but I'm ready for it if I have to. What is your favorite time to stitch? I do not have a favorite time to stitch. I've had a friend, Athena, she's like, it amazes me. You can sit down and just pick it up and start going right away. Like it's just something about how I do. Like, so I love to stitch first thing in the morning, but that has evolved because the dogs normally need their walk. So I used to get up, have tea, stitch in the morning, and then meander about my day. But I developed a habit in this last year with the dogs. So I get up, I walk them, and then I have my peaceful time to where I can stitch and have my tea. So when you hear them tip-tapping around, it's because they didn't do that today yet. So I'm kind of letting it get a little bit warmer. So, and then of course I stitch on my breaks at work. And that was a question of how do I have so much time to work? I stitch on breaks. I stitch on like almost any time that I can. When I'm at home on the weekends, my husband and I are watching TV, I'm stitching. I just chat with friends and stitch. It's just like something that I like try to incorporate as much as possible. It's calming for me. So that's just kind of what it does. So, do you use printed paper or do I use digital? I have evolved into primarily a digital, and I use Markup XP. I will scan patterns in. So a paper pattern will turn into a digital pattern for me if I can make it happen. Even if they're small, it shouldn't take that long. It's just super quick for me to scan it in and upload it and get it on my Markup XP. So I'm a big fan of that, but yeah, I can do paper. That's how I learned, just like everyone else. So am I a floss licker? Yep, yes I am. Normally I am stubborn about it to where I will lick my floss and try to thread my needle before I actually get the tool out to do it. I'm very stubborn about it. It's last resort. I will like cut to give a fresh end, start again before I shouldn't, because it just takes time. Do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? I am a hoarder. Over the last few years, I used to, just so you know, when I started out, I would just buy one project at a time and stitch it. Completely, like I may have one more on the go, ready to go, but it was never like an inclusive thing. My mirabilias, I would tend to buy them more often, but that was literally it. And then it turned into like collect all the things. Flosstube was a big enabler of that. And then my mindset of you're going to retire and not going to like be able to be like, oh, I'll just work an extra hour today or whatever. So I'm definitely set for retirement in regards to I would never have to buy another thing. So well, that's a false statement. I'd have to possibly fill up on certain specialty flosses, but like patterns, thread, the general DMC, patterns, and fabric, I'm pretty much set on. So yeah, what's your favorite floss? Again, don't really have one. I have a full collection of DMC, kind of times two. When my mother passed away, she had 2 DMC sets, and one at her house and one at her camper. So I got one and my older sister got one, and we both already had our own full collections. But hey, it is very much a bitter to my heart when like mine runs out and I go get one and it's got my mom's handwriting on the bobbin that I go to do. So it's a little thanks mom moment when that happens for me. As far as fancy flosses, as they call them, I'll use all of them. I don't have any I don't know, I don't have any weirdness toward any of them. I mean, I have fallen that like Veldani seems to, because I have one that's completely kitted up on that. It's dry, so I seem to condition it, but that's sorry, the talk was like, I need water now. So I hope that answers that question. Are you a serial starter or do you have a whip at a time? So I have about 34 whips right now, which to me is pretty much a comfortable area. I can go down, I can go up a little bit, no big deal. This last summer, I did arbitrary August, so I had a bunch of things kitted up. That's what I seem to do. I seem to have my 30-ish whips. I have some kitted up, queued, ready to go. I have a section of charts that I'm like, these are in my super near future that I want to get started. So it's like steps for me. And yeah, my least favorite, and I don't know if that's going to be a question on here, but my least favorite thing about stitching is usually the kitting up process. I've gotten much more comfortable about starting, but the kitting up process of like making decisions, it's like, because I don't always do what they call for. I don't have the exact fabric. I don't focus on that. So I just find something that looks good. Do you have more FFOs or UFOs? I have currently this year only UFO'd one thing, and I mailed it away to Rogamama Stitcher, and she lovingly took on Butterfly Brigade. In the past, I had UFO'd Maps of Hawk Run Hollow, but I basically decided to reimagine it. So we'll see that this year, because I hope that's a finish. When I say this year, next year, 2025. I don't really have very many UFOs. I usually, if I start something, I usually finish it. I think that's just like kind of me too. The question is FFOs. Like I have finished projects galore, but I don't have, like, they're not all FFO'd. So I think that's what happens. Like if I start a project, I finish stitching it, but then I go to the part of like, how do I want this finished? Is it even, I don't want to say worthy. Like if I enjoyed the stitch but is it really something I want sitting around? That is a determining factor for me. And that's probably why it stays in that tote of under the bed goodness, as they say, because I don't know really how I want to finish them or where I would incorporate it. So there's that. Do you watch TV while stitching? Already answered that. Yeah, I watch TV. I watch Flosstube. I watch movies. So, and I'll listen to a book also. Do you mostly stitch alone or do you ever get together with other stitchers? It's both. I stitch alone a lot. It does help me with my anxiety and my mental process. It's a very calming situation for me. I have a group of friends that I will get online with and chat with via Messenger. I go in person to my cross stitch store. I have a once a month group, and then I have some ladies that we get together with during the month a couple times. So like I have taken this hobby that can be a lonely hobby, and I have created it to be more so that I'm not just lonely. I have a couple of hobbies like that. So I encourage you. I used to just get out into the wild. I would go to the library and stitch. Even if I was by myself, somebody would come up and say, hey, what are you doing there? You know, like people are kind out there, or you'll see them looking over, and then I engage. So that's how you meet new people and like come full circle. So I hope to on here. I was talking to my son about help me figure out like a setup. I hope to get to the point where I can do lives like SammyJ does. I find that very interesting. I get nervous about like if you're asking questions, how am I stitching and watching an electronic device for questions? How am I doing all that for a live? But I do want to incorporate that in my channel. So that is something that will be in the future. I tried doing those voiceovers for a while, and I think it was just a time situation because I still walk my dogs every single day, and I love doing those walks with you. I just found that recording twice in 1 week was too much. So, but again, that's a direction I went to, so I have more of a community with you that I like to see evolve in regards to my channel. Do you like to experiment and alter things in your charts, or do you stitch them just as they're written? I do both. It's taken me a couple of years or so to where I start changing things. I'll start changing names and dates. I'll change sayings. I'll reimagine things. So I am definitely stronger at that. I'm not always strong at changing the colors. I feel like I constantly say like, I wish I had like a color theory situation that could help me with that. But, you know, I'm always growing and I'm always learning. So the next one, do you bobbinate floss or not? Nope, I'm a floss drop girl. And I actually have these in different lengths too. So like depending on, this is my primary favorite one for DMC length. And then like my weeks or whatever is usually in this length. And then whatever the other ones have already pre-cut lengths, I'll just use those. So nothing, it's not real particular for me. Exactly. Do you start a project in the middle of your fabric or in the corner? Do you have a whip rotation? So, that was a double question. So, I start, it depends. I am a top left starter or I'm a center starter, and I've also gone to the middle of the chart, come like the 2 inches down and started there. So it just kind of depends. If you've been with me for a while, I definitely am a girl that likes to usually get my borders done first. I don't know why, but it is just something that happens with me to where I like to do the borders. Probably because then I have a picture of like how big this thing is going to be. That's how I would think. Do I have a whip rotation? Not really. I play SammyJ's whipagories. I do whip go. I'm going to start doing the temperature thing. So I like to get a variety in. So that's probably why I don't do a rotation. But I mean, I have a goal for 2025 to touch all of my whips. So that shouldn't be too hard with 34. But I didn't accomplish that. I missed it by like two projects this last year, and I know there's still time, but I'm not focusing on that. Do you use a timekeeper to track how long I've how long it takes to complete a project. I do not on purpose markup XP like tracks, kind of. I don't know how accurate it is. It's probably like when I'm actively touching it, I'm not really sure. So I don't really focus on that. I on my well, the cat just laid on it. I have these things that I have made, and I need to get more of them out. I need to make more do different ones anyway, to where I put one of these with every single project, and I mark on them like the day that I stitch. So for me, it's not time as much as it is the day. How many days did it take? And that's just like, I don't even really do anything with that data. I just like mark it. I also started marking I started using the Notion app to where I mark what I worked on a day. And that just helps me basically know when I come to record these videos, what to pull out because I just can't remember day to day. So it's how I like know what I worked on so I can pull it out for a recording video. Other than that, I don't use that data for anything. Do you use the parking technique? No, I do not. So somebody actually said that to me recently, like they saw strings hanging on my cross stitching, and that's just basically an active thread I either stopped in the middle of, or I have created the habit of leaving a thread attached to the needle so that if I drop it for some reason, it's easier to find when there's a thread attached to it. Do you keep your ords? Nope, I do not. I do not. And I literally, nope. I create a little pile and I throw it away at the end of the day. Do you like to have a snack or drink while you're stitching? I always have something to drink with me. That is something I don't know, always. There's no reason for it other than I always need to get my water intake done. When I stitch with my friends, some of them will say water and we'll all take a drink of our water so it doesn't get lost. I am so sorry about Opie barking. He's not happy with something. I'm trying to get through this before I pause the questions. Do you have a favorite piece or unicorn chart? Not really. I always actively have a mirabilia. Those are definitely in my love language of like, just, I love the beautifulness of them. And so that's something I always have. My unicorn chart, not really. I had a few of them and you guys came through and let me borrow them. And so I don't currently have anything on my radar that's a unicorn chart. So, a couple questions from you guys. Those were the preset questions. A couple questions from you guys. That I already answered this one. How do you have so much time to stitch? I always tell people that I think part of it is the stage of life I'm in. My kids are all gone. Yeah, I see my grandkids usually every day, but my husband and I work opposite shifts. My daily assignment is to walk these dogs. Was I optimistic as a teen? Yeah, I was. I've always pretty much been a very positive, optimistic person. I mean, we all go through sad times, so yeah, I had breakups or I had boyfriends that hurt me and then I'd be sad for a while. But I always, I don't know if it was my parents. I don't know if it was my grandparents, but you put your boots back on, lace them up, move on. That's just kind of how I go about life. Now I'll actually have, Athena called me out this weekend because I finished Love Letters from Mom and I shared it. And she was like, now enjoy that and celebrate it, because I'm always like, next. I don't give myself the grace to feel accomplished and proud of myself for that accomplishment. So that's probably something to work on with the counselor. Indiana, how long have I lived here? So I have lived in Indiana my whole life. And I originally was from the Muncie area. My father that's where my father was born and raised at, both my parents. And then we were relocated to the Fort Wayne area when General Motors was created up here in 86. My dad came in 87, and then he relocated us here for his job. So always an Indiana girl. I love to travel, but yeah, primarily just an Indiana girl. And then someone questioned me about my community stuff and the Halloween, the Christmas, the kids, all that kind of stuff. I don't know where my love of community came from. I would actually have to say, if I thought really hard, probably from the Girl Scouts, because my mom was my Girl Scout leader when I was little, and I know that you choose, but I just remember that, and I remember when I became a Girl Scout leader for my daughter, I was really into like, we would make cards for the nursing homes, and I don't know. It's just again, it's probably just part of me, and I don't know the exact reason why, but I do definitely believe in the giving back, and the part of like, it's the unspoken hero-ness. Like, I don't need credit for dropping food off at the food bank. I don't need credit for doing the things, but community is just a big part. That's probably why I've gone out and created a community in my cross-stitching world. I've also created a community in my quilting world. So we are meant to be with other people and socialize. So even if I got to the point where I was homebound, I would have to figure out how to have a community situation. And I think that the social medias of the Zoom calls and the things like that create that for me. I used to always tell my daughter, like, in regards to like end of life stages and stuff, if I ever needed to end up in a nursing home, don't worry, I will make friends. I will have things to do. But that was a big burden of us from my mom. She did not want to end up in there. Thankfully she never had to, but it was definitely a conversation that she stressed so much. She wanted to be at home, and I am aware of healthcare for elderly, that sometimes it is more help than an untrained professional can provide for. So didn't mean to make that sad, but like, community, back to that. Community is just what it's about. We are meant to be around other people, in my opinion. So that is what we make Halloween and Christmas also, and my grandkids. So and then someone asked about my question about my Stitchy setup. So I have several Stitchy setups. Like here where I record, it's not, but it's going to be in the future when I retire. And then I sit on the couch and stitch. I will sit at work. I have stuff so that I can stitch while I'm at work. In my sewing room, if I need it to be in an extra quiet. So like several different places, and that's going to evolve. So basically I have like a travel little bag that I can take with me so that my essential tools are with me, and it's just my kit. Sit down, start. So I hope that answers the question. If you've stayed here till the end, I completely forgot to tell you at the beginning of the video that somebody asked me about the picture of the new start I'm going to do. Damn, I Am Beautiful is what I call it, but it's actually called Self-Love. So the link for that is going to be in the description box below. So if you were interested in that, I may cut in and put this at the beginning also. So there's that. And then what I wanted to talk to you about. So that's all the stitching stuff. And that's the end of the questions. If you had any more, please shout out and ask me questions. I don't have any problems sharing. But I'm going to talk to you about my personal life, what I've been up to this week, because we have done Christmas festivities and I am so excited about it. I made cookies. I didn't exactly make them with the grands, but they came over at the end when we were like finishing up. So I put their little aprons on, and I have this cute little picture to share. Us in our matching aprons, and that was so fun. And I look forward, as they get older, for that to definitely be a tradition that we do of making cookies together, because I love making cookies and I love doing that stuff with the grandkids. And then as a brand new tradition this year, our baseball diamond turned into Christmas lights. So Park View's Field of Lights is what they called it. And you get out and you walk in the lights. And I have pictures that I'm sharing here because I have done the drive-thrus before and they're kind of fun, but then people get irritated and you have horns honking and whatnot. But this was so happy. We posed at different places. I had so much fun. And I kept saying that on the way home with my husband. I'm like, I'm so glad we did this. And like, my husband and I never take pictures together. So the fact that we have some cute ones here, I loved. Yeah, it was cold, but yes, it was worth it. There was other things there that we could have done, but we didn't. We went around at once with the kids and the grandkids, and then Jeff and I dipped out, and they went back around without their cameras out and enjoyed the environment. So it was definitely a highlight of my Christmas, doing those Christmas lights, and I look forward to doing those little kind of traditions in the future. So as I move into retirement. So that's another personal announcement to make, is I officially signed up for retirement. I have no information about the dates, but I'm officially signed up. So when more of that evolves, but 2025 is definitely going to be a retirement year for me. So My dogs are fussing at me. This has been like longer than normal. Everybody is like, there's extra noises today. I apologize if any of those were the bothersome. That whine that you just heard right there is how Gabby lets me know she needs to go out. So I'm going to get out of here and get these dogs taken care of. I wish you Merry Christmas. Please have a blessed day. I hope you find joy in it somewhere. And if at least find some calm in your stitching. So please keep stitching, enjoy life. And I'm sending you so much love. Merry Christmas.